Fun Facts presents the 1954 Kaiser-Darrin Convertible. It is a 50s classic car, and it was introduced for 1 year only, 1954. And I am excited. I hope you're excited, and let's get started now. Okay, the Kaiser-Darrin, also known as the Kaiser-Darrin 161. In short, as the Darrin, was an American sports car designed by Howard Dutch Darrin and built by Kaiser Motors for the 1954 model year, essentially a revamp of Kaiser's Henry J. Compact. The Kaiser-Darrin was one of its designer's final achievements and was noted for being the second behind the 1953 Corvette, the American car equipped with a fiberglass body and doors that slid on tracks into the front fender wells. The car was named both for Henry J. Kaiser, head of Kaiser Motors and Darrin. The Darrin was conceived as part of a movement in Detroit to compete head-to-head with European roadsters being imported to and sold in the United States in the post-World War II period. Among the other products developed were the Ford Thunderbird in its initial two-seat form and the Chevrolet Corvette. While the Darrin was designed attractively, it was also underpowered, and, while a good performer overall, did not measure up to the foreign vehicles such as the Nash Healey or the Triumph TR2. The Darrin's high price tag, lack of consumer confidence in Kaiser's viability, and practical challenges with the car's design resulted in low sales, though the sports cars at the time were generally not fast sellers. Only 435 production Darrins and 6 prototypes were built. Crumbling corporate finances, pending loss of assembly facilities, and a freak snowstorm that reportedly ruined 50 of the cars all conspired to terminate the program. Darrin bought those 50 vehicles and whatever others Kaiser had left in storage and sold those from his Hollywood, California showroom. Many of the cars' engines were retrofitted with superchargers and multiple carburation to improve performance. 6 were rumored to have been re-engined with Cadillac Eldorado V8 units. However, none have survived, subjecting the story to just some speculation or skepticism. There was one V8 engine Darrin raced at Torrey Pines in 1954 and a wrecked Darrin rebuilt in a drag racer by Lee and Gary Abrams of Tucson, Arizona in the early 1960s. By the end of his life, industrialist Henry J. Kaiser has built a personal empire which included more than 100 various companies that ranged from construction and manufacturing to healthcare. He had begun with a cement business in Vancouver, British Columbia, a contract to build roads in Cuba in 1927 was followed with work on the Hoover and Grand Coulee dams. In 1939, he entered the shipbuilding industry, even though he had never built a ship before. By 1943, he had more than 300,000 employees. With a penchant for lateral thinking, Kaiser tended to bulldoze his way through a problem in areas that lacked infrastructure to support his workforce. Kaiser and his son Edgar built entire cities within months. If there was a shortage of steel, he built a foundry and found a way to substitute aluminum. All that Kaiser tended to lack, according to a writer, Aaron Severson, was the sense of his own limitations. Kaiser had begun to consider entering the automobile business in 1942 when the United States government halted production of civilian vehicles to focus on military ones due to the country's entry into World War II. With an eye toward post-war needs, Kaiser assembled a team of idea men to conceive a compact, lightweight car that the average working man could afford. By 1945, efforts had reached the prototype stage with the K85, not a compact car, but one with several advanced features, which included front-wheel drive, unibody construction, and a combination of torsion bar springs, torsion bar beam rear axle called the torsionetic suspension. In partnership with automotive executive Joseph W. Frazier, Kaiser formed the Kaiser-Frazier Corporation. On July 25, 1945, late that year, Kaiser-Frazier leased the Ford factory complex in Willow Run, near Detroit, Michigan, as its manufacturing base. Building new cars soon proved more problematical than designing them. While post-war demand for new cars meant robust sales, an ongoing shortage of capital at Kaiser-Frazier led to a split between the two founders. Kaiser wanted to expand production, Frazier wanted to retrench and economize, especially with the view that at this big three, Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors, brought out newly designed cars. Kaiser-Frazier sales would drop immediately after World War II. The big three had made do with cars made essentially along pre-war designs and rushed to get new vehicles to the market. In 1949, Frazier stepped down as president of Kaiser-Frazier. He was replaced by Kaiser's son Edgar, and the company renamed Kaiser Motors. Frazier concerns proved accurate. Sales slumped in 1949. Henry and Edgar Kaiser contemplated liquidation but decided against it in hope that a new Kaiser for 1951, the Henry J, would turn up sales around. American designer Edward Dutch Darrin began coach building in Paris in partnership with fellow American designer Thomas L. Hibbard under the name Hibbard and Darrin in 1923. While they became noted over the following years for the innovative style bodies they designed for many of the Europeans' most prestigious chassis, the Great Depression and resultant loss of customers hit Hibbard and Darrin hard. The partnership ended in 1931 when Hibbard accepted a position in General Motors' design department under Harley Earl. While Darrin remained in France initially and formed the coach building firm of the Fernandez and Darrin with a wealthy South American banker, he returned to the United States in 1937. He set up his own coachworks on Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood, and worked with Packard on some of the most attractive models built by that company in the 1930s and 40s. These included the Packard 120 and the Packard Clipper. One of his trademarks became a sweeping fender line which descended gently along the side of the car until it reached a dip at the head of the rear fender. Darrin began work with Kaiser-Frazier as a freelance consultant at the end of World War II, after a plan to manufacture and sell an advanced automobile of his own design failed to materialize due to an immediate post-war shortage of raw materials. Investment banker Charles Schwartz, a friend of Darrin's who had helped arrange the financing for his plan, introduced him to Joseph Frazier. Frazier commissioned Darrin to design a car that he planned to market through the Graham Page automotive firm. Once Kaiser-Frazier had been incorporated, Darrin's design became the first 1947 Frazier. By 1946, Darrin had contracted as a Kaiser-Frazier consultant. Well, if you found yourself this far into the video, we'd certainly like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch our video. I'm going to leave a link below this video for the Wikipedia article that I'm reading from. It is maybe 3 times longer than what I've already shared with you, and it's fascinating. I mean, when I'm starting to find out, you know, since I was born after 54, just all of these intricate ties with these different car manufacturers, the different people that are all just kind of linked. It was kind of like the good old boys club from what I can tell, and it's totally fascinating. So the link will be below the video, and if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up because it really does help our channel. And if you like our channel, please subscribe, because we'll be doing a lot of the cars in the 50s and the 60s, the muscle cars, the hybrid cars, the supercars, a little bit of everything for everybody. And we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day. And we look forward to seeing you when we upload our next video. And always, always, always take good care.